Of the Federal University of Technology Act Amendment Bill 2025, which seeks to amend the Principal Act to provide for the establishment of the Federal University of Technology, Odukpani, in Cross River State. This bill is not just about creating another institution. It is about our shared aspiration to build a Nigeria where no region is left behind in access to knowledge, innovation, and economic opportunities. There are currently no federal universities of technology in the South-South region, and Cross River State has only one other federal university. I'll take that again. This bill is not just about creating another institution. It is about our shared aspirations to build a Nigeria where no region is left behind in access to knowledge, innovation, and economic opportunities. There are currently no federal universities of technology in the South-South region, and Cross River State has only one other federal university established over 50 years ago. The establishment of this university not only addresses regional imbalance in the distribution of specialized federal tertiary institutions, especially in a region that contributes significantly to the national economy, but also a 50-year gap in federal investment in a university in the state. Odukpani in Cross River South Senatorial District is strategically situated, both geographically and economically, and is at the intersection of key transportation and energy corridors that connect the South-South region to the Southeast and North Central. It is home to the Adiabo Power Station and is very close to the proposed Bakassi Deep Sea Port. Establishing a Federal University of Technology in Odukpani will not only enhance education, but also catalyze regional development, industrialization, and innovation. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, Nigeria cannot compete in the 21st century global economy if we do not urgently and significantly scale up access to and innovation-based education. There is growing demand for education in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, which are critical for national development. With over 60% of Nigeria's population under the age of 30, there exists a pressing need to create more pathways to productive employment. A University of Technology trains employable graduates in high-demand fields, and students trained in technological disciplines are better positioned to become job creators and not just job seekers. The establishment of this university will provide access to tertiary education for thousands of young people in Cross River and surrounding states. It will complement and strengthen the ongoing efforts of the Cross River State government to expand access to quality education and build a knowledge-driven economy for our people. Mr. President, this Federal University of Technology in Odukpani will not only bridge the educational gap in our region, but also serve as a vital incubator for innovation, particularly in emerging sectors like fintech, which is one of the fastest growing industries in Nigeria today. By training the next generation of software developers, data analysts, and digital entrepreneurs, this university will serve as a vehicle for indigenous solutions that can further accelerate our transition into a digital economy. Distinguished colleagues, the United Nations Educational, Scientific, and Cultural Organization, UNESCO, reports that Nigeria needs to increase enrollment in science and technology disciplines by over 50% to meet our industrial development goals by 2030. Currently, less than 30% of Nigerian students are enrolled in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics fields, far below global averages. This anomaly must be addressed. And as we continue to battle rising insecurity and youth restiveness, one of the most powerful tools at our disposal is education. By creating meaningful opportunities in underserved areas, we offer young people a chance at hope, dignity, and constructive nation building. The Federal University of Technology, Odukpani, will contribute to this national mission. Distinguished colleagues, I call on you today not only to support the passage of this bill. By doing this, we are sending a clear message that every corner of this great nation matters, and that every child, regardless of their place of birth, deserves access to the tools of the future. A new Federal University of Technology is not just an educational institution. It is a strategic national investment in innovation, equity, economic transformation, and future prosperity. I humbly urge you to support the second reading of this bill and allow it to proceed to the appropriate committee for further legislative scrutiny. Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, distinguished colleagues.
Senatorial District. I have listened attentively to the lead debate of the sponsor of this bill and adopt all the submissions and arguments made in favor of the establishment of this university by the sponsor of this bill, and further add that technology is the most veritable tool that can be deployed to leapfrog our economic development. And not only that, it is equally a veritable tool to create employment that is not white collar, but employment that at the end of the day, graduates that are technology biased can be able to set up their own businesses without necessarily running helter-skelter looking for white collar jobs. So it's also another avenue of creating employment for our teeming unemployed youths, with all its attendant advantage of taking them away from the streets and then drastically reducing the ugly incidents of insecurity that has bedeviled this country. On this note, I support the second reading of this bill. Thank you.
President, my name is Senator Victor Ume, OFR. I represent Anambra Central Senatorial District. Mr. President, I rise to lend my tacit support to the second reading of this bill for the establishment of Federal University of Technology in Odukpani in Cross River State. Further, I say so because institutions of higher learning in this country, with a population of nearly 250 million people, we have no alternative than to create institutions of higher learning for our teeming youths, who will be the engine room of development of this country. This University of Technology, Federal University of Technology, is the area to go, because technology, like Senator Mongono noted, is ruling the world today. If we don't develop our technological base, we cannot hope to compete with the rest of the world, not to talk of taking care of our needs. Many countries of the world have gone beyond subsistence living. People are now exploring adventures into the moon, into the sun, into everywhere on earth and above us. With technology, we'll be able to develop what we need to create the things that we can use to help ourselves as a nation. So this University of Technology, Federal University of Technology, I have no hesitation in supporting it, because Nigeria really needs more than 10,000 tertiary institutions and universities to be able to compare with others who are making education a serious enterprise. So I commend Senator Asuquo, who I know is beyond the age of going to this university, but is thinking for the youths of the present day. So I heartily support that this bill, for the progress of this nation, because this university will serve youths from all over Nigeria, and even people who will come from outside. So I support that to read it for a second time. I so support, Mr. President.
And I am representing Bauchi Central of Bauchi State. Mr. President, I rise to support a bill for an act to establish the Federal University of Technology, Odukpani, for the following reasons. For some of us, Cross River is very, very close to our hearts, and it's been a place for all Nigerians. And more so, the current governor of Cross Rivers, Sweet Prince Basu Otu, is not only a colleague, but a very close, confidant, and friend. And more importantly, Basu Otu has shown that he has the leadership requirements to be supported. But more importantly, Mr. President, Cross River happens to belong to the southern part of the country, and ordinary one would have wished that Cross River is also partake within the oil-producing communities. But Cross River doesn't get any money from being an oil-producing community, and therefore it is very imperative that whatever Cross River requests, that the National Assembly and the nation think about their serious predicament, because they are neighbors to oil-producing states that gets more money because of the natural endowment that God has given them. So I think it is important we support Asuquo, who has also shown some tremendous courage as a young man and a past-timer, bringing a very important bill of this nature. It should be supported, and I call on all my colleagues who are here today to give this bill a serious recognition and support. Mr. President, I so support.
Is very predictable. I have been very consistent in commending the commitment of the 10th Senate to advancing the flanks of education. This is not just a university. This is one major quantum leap, not just for Odukpani, not just for Cross River State, but for Asuquo Ekpenyong, and indeed this great country. On behalf of the people of Asuquo Ekpenyong South, I throw my full weight behind the spirit that underpins this bill. We can never have too many schools like this, too many students like this, which shape the future of our youth. Technology is the way to go. So predictably, this bill is well framed, it's very timely, and it addresses the key concerns of our people, that we need to embrace the future. And one way we can embrace the future is by having schools like this, by embracing technology, by embracing the new times. Of course, Asuquo Ekpenyong and Cross River are cousins, and naturally, my position is only to be expected. I throw my full weight behind this bill, and I urge our colleagues to be persuaded by the very fine spirit that underpins this bill. Thank you.
I am Benson Friday Kombowe, representing Bayelsa Central Senatorial District. Mr. President, I also represent the governor of Bayelsa State. Your Excellency, this bill is very apt. This bill is one of the bills that interests me so much because it talks about education. And as had been said by many that have spoken before me, this government has shown that they are education friendly, or that we are education friendly, because we have come across bills of this nature not once, not twice, not thrice. And the President has always assented in the establishment of these universities to ensure that our students, our young ones, are properly educated. Mr. President, as you are aware, my colleague have said, education is something that we should take to every corner in the country. To add to that, we have all witnessed a time where our youths are yearning to be educated. And so there are a lot of universities that are trying to fill that gap by way of going to primary schools and secondary schools. If you go to any corner, you will see university of this, university of that, but it's in the primary school. That goes to tell you that the people are yearning for education. They are crying for education. And so there can be not too much of establishing universities in the suburbs. And to that end, I sincerely want to support my friend and brother in establishing or bringing forward this bill for this Senate for passage. Thank you very much, Mr. President.